Isn't there a risk for addiction to buprenorphine itself? What tools will be necessary to ensure that we don't create another problem?
Well, I think, first of all, that the long-term goal would be to help the person initially be able to cope with the physiological effects of their brain having been rewired, and then over time go through the process of cognitive change and be able to ultimately, over a long period of time, be weaned off. But I think the current system, where we think if we detox you, you'll be okay, has proven to be almost a guaranteed failure. So, I'd like to live in a world where nobody was addicted and nobody needed this kind of help, but that world doesn't exist. So the question is, can you find a medication support which enables you to then go through what may be a several-year process? I mean, it may not be a 6-week or 6-month period.
Right. Yes, the medication is stabilizing. It's not like an antibiotic. You can't be asleep and have it work. You really have to actively participate. And that's why it's so hard for so many of the private practitioners to prescribe, because they don't have that backup with the counseling and things like that.
So, Sally, the state of Massachusetts adopted this mandatory coverage for 2 weeks inpatient detox. You're going to see death rates rise in Massachusetts. So in other words, the science is not guiding the policy making. And it's happening all over this country. And at the height of this crisis, we're not following what the science and Nora Volkow tells us to do. So, I mean, we've got another issue here of global warming, and we don't appreciate it.
Let's not start that fight. But this is, I think, for those of us who are just been thrown into this world, you think, wow, if we had more detox centers, people could go, they'd get detoxed, and then they would go and get PhDs and join NASA, and everything would be fine. You just need that couple weeks. And it turns out that's not true. In fact, people are at great risk. People are at very great risk. After a Narcan shot or after they've quote-unquote detoxed, their brains have begun to heal a little bit, to rewire just a little bit, and yet there they are back out there in the world. They don't have aftercare. They don't have any other medicine they can rely on. What tends to happen to people too often, they go back and they say, well, what was I relying on before? And they take that same dosage that before got them high, and that same dosage now gets them dead.
That's right.
And so literally detox turns out to be a springboard into the morgue.
That's right.
And we've been fighting for the wrong thing because we're not paying attention to the science. We have these mythologies and these theologies around detox and 12-step, but guess what? It turns out for a lot of these things, there's a 13th step. And that 13th step is getting some medical support. And if we keep telling people it's 12 steps in detox, we're going to be going to more funerals, not fewer.